Welcome to this week's meeting of the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley. The function of our club is to promote innovation, entrepreneurship, and education. And each week we try to utilize our tools of innovation and technology to further our goals of making this world a better place to live. Now, this week we have a special guest, which is one of the members of our club. And this Rotary year, she is the chairperson of the membership committee. And she's going to speak to us on the role of that committee and what her goals are for this coming year. And I would like to, at this time, present Ferheen Abbasi. And take it away, Ferheen.
Oh, I'm muted. Thank you so much, Roger. I'm going to share my screen with you all now. Can you all see it?
Yes.
Perfect. So, hello, everyone. My name is Ferheen Abbasi, 2 B's, 1 S, and I am one of the directors of the E-Club, as well as the chair of the membership committee. Today, I wanted to share the goals and vision of the committee with you all. And I will need the power of each and every one of you to make this E-Club a happy, vibrant, and connected club. So please write lots and lots of comments in the discus below this video, and of course to our participants here right now, ask me lots of questions. So let's start with goals. When the committee met last Sunday, we came up with goals for the year, given the catchy title of the 3 R's. The first goal is recruitment. We would like to induct at least 3 new members this year, and we have technically already met that goal. We have 4 new members, yay! But I don't want to stop there. The next goal is retention. I actually directly stole this line from Skiatko's presentation a few weeks back, but it captures the essence behind this goal to a T. I want to improve member happiness, engagement, and communication in hopes that it will keep our members from leaving the club. The last goal is refinement. You might be like, Ferheen, what does refinement even mean? To be honest, it was a word Nate suggested to complete the last R because I really wanted 3 R's. But really what it means is that I want every member who is a part of this club to truly understand what it means to be a Rotarian and how we can refine ourselves to be stronger, more committed members. So before I talk about the goals in depth, I wanted to briefly talk about the results, the survey results. There were 5 questions that were highlighted to membership, related to membership, and I wanted to highlight the 2 that got the lowest agree response. The first was, my club provides opportunities to use my talent and skills. I would love to hear some suggestions on how we can improve this. Our club has some truly amazing people with a wide variety of skills. What would be the best way to tap into you all as a resource? The other was, my club does a good job communicating and listening to members. Uh-oh, this one is definitely on my to correct list. Communicating with and listening to members is extremely important. If we don't do this effectively, how can we call ourselves a club? I would also love advice on how we can foster this communication. When I first joined the club, I got many emails about recordings and group activities and socials and volunteer opportunities. And then I stopped getting emails. So I know that we are trying to foster community via a Facebook group, but not everyone is on Facebook. So we need to figure out a way to keep our members in communication with each other. The next thing I want to discuss is the specific feedback that we got. I selected some comments that were especially impactful, and I want to read them to you all. So some guidance for all club members on the kind of people we are seeking and how to reach out to them as potential members. This person requested that each member serve as an accountable team member. Someone else said that we're missing a strong social component, which is challenging given our online setup, but doing more socials, having projects like Coffee with Rotarian would help. Someone else said that they made suggestions for areas that they've been happy to contribute to, but it wasn't embraced. So they found themselves on a committee last year that wasn't right for them, and that the value they get from the time and money they give to Rotary comes mostly from external initiatives beyond the club. More online meetings to socialize on different days at different times, And then this person said, if there's a use in using something like Slack to allow for more communication between members, maybe it could spark a sense of real-time communication between club members. So all of these suggestions are extremely valid, and I will do my best to address them. So let's start with our first goal, recruitment. One of our members stated, some guidance for all club members on the kind of people we are seeking and how to reach out to them as potential members would be good. So this comment really got me thinking, because whoever you are so right. What kind of members do we want? So I wrote a few comments here about the kinds of members I personally want to see, those who truly embody the Rotary motto of service above self, and people who have a little extra time to devote to our growing club. I know that many of us join this club because of its flexibility. We are quite busy people. However, I went to the Cupertino and Santa Clara clubs a few days ago and saw a huge contrast between our club and theirs in terms of involvement. It's easier to be a bit more committed when you see each other physically in person every single week, because I think it's easier to be accountable that way. Nonetheless, I do hope that we actively seek people who are willing to put in time to help our club grow. So then how do we reach out to potential members? Well, let me tell you the story about how I got recruited. To be honest, I did not have much interest in Rotary before this club. The Interact Club at my high school felt more like a social club than a club that actually did service. And unfortunately, because of that, my feelings towards Rotary were a little bit biased. That and, well, women weren't allowed to join until fairly recently, and that made me pretty sad. But a few years ago, my family and I were having lunch with the greatest Russian that ever lived, who said to me, Ferheen, have you ever thought about joining Rotary? I think you'd be a perfect member for my e-club. And I was like, huh, really? Me? You sure? And look where I'm now. Rushton said to me at the time to take a look at our programs page, and I was also invited to a live recording. So if you think that there is someone in your life that would be a good member for our club, be direct. Let them know that and invite them to our programs page. Have them join a live meeting. Maybe they'll fall in love with our club like I did. Finally, once we find these potential members, how do we get to know them? Well, I propose that all potential members do an informal meet and greet with current members led by the membership committee, so that not only can we get to know them, but they can get to know us before joining. So at the district membership meeting last week, our club received these super awesome pins as a way to motivate current members to find new members. If you commit to finding a non-Rotarian and help them join our club, I will personally send you one of these pins as a thank you. These are super exclusive and I only have 4 of them, so message me ASAP if you're interested. So now let's talk about retention, and I picked this quote. We are missing a stronger social component, but doing more socials and having more projects like Coffee with a Rotarian would definitely help. The member who wrote this is right. We are missing a stronger social component. And I felt that when I visited the brick and mortar clubs this past week. So how do we build it? It's hard with an e-club, and each and every one of us need to commit to building a more connected club. So we lost 4 members last year and 1 this year. However, as an aside, we did add 9 members last year and 4 this year. Nonetheless, Rotary membership, especially in the US, is declining. People are not joining and they're also leaving. So how do we correct this? How do we keep you all engaged and happy? First off, I highly encourage you all to get involved with an e-club committee. No matter how busy you are, we can find even a small thing for you to do. I promise that the more you leave your mark in our club, the more connected you will feel. The next thing is joining Coffee with a Rotarian and socials. We haven't had too many socials this year yet, but Coffee with a Rotarian is a phenomenal program we have to help us stay connected to each other. Shout out to Tzviatko for starting this. I honestly think it is the best thing our club does. So if you haven't joined the monthly Coffee with a Rotarian, please do. I promise you won't regret it. And I say that with experience. I resisted joining in the beginning because I felt like I was too busy, but oh, I really regretted that because when I finally started doing it, I have made such incredible friends. I want to bring back membership spotlight and birthday shoutouts. My love language is affirmation, and I love getting them and giving them. So what better way to give affirmation than a spotlight on you all? Each week, my goal is to include to choose a member to highlight. I would like to include a picture. It doesn't have to be your face. It could be a cat or a place you visited, and a short paragraph about what you've been up to. So a great example is a few weeks ago and how we highlighted Midi and Yvonne getting engaged. So if you have something going on in your life, please email me and I'd love to include it in the spotlight section. I will also reach out to a few of you just to ping you and see if you'd be willing to give me a spotlight on yourself. I also want to bring birthday shout outs back. For those of you on Facebook, you may know that some folks choose to donate on behalf of someone else's birthday to an organization of their choice. I want to do the same thing. I'd love to highlight someone's birthday that week and then encourage everyone to donate to the Rotary Foundation on their behalf. The last thing is a very, very lofty goal that I discussed with a few members. Shout out to Tatiana and Maxi. But I want to be able to tap our computer scientists in the club and ask if it's possible to create an exclusive forum for just our members, where we can log into it via our website. The reason why is because I acknowledge that privacy is a big concern, and some of us don't want all of our private information public. In the same lens, I acknowledge that Facebook might not be the best way to connect to each other either. So what if we created a forum where everyone can talk to each other and leave messages there? Let me know what you all think of this lofty idea of mine. And here's an example. So I kind of did a Google of a Rotary Club forum, and this is what I got. But I realized it's not actually a Rotary Club. It's a literal voter club. Yeah, but nonetheless, though, it fits our, this is what I want to see, right? Where, it talks about membership, news, even monthly meetups, club photos, but I want something like this. So even though this is a different kind of Rotary, it's still very much, it's a good idea of what I want. So the last goal is refinement, and I chose the quote, "I request that each member of the club serve as an accountable team member." So this refinement goal is really a way to help make you all stronger Rotarians. And this is also a goal for myself too. I'm honestly not a very good Rotarian. I don't really know the history of the organization, but I want to. I want to have pride in being a Rotarian. So there are 3 ways I want to do this. The first is to create a mentorship or recreate our mentorship program. We had it in the past and I would like to bring it back. Each new member, as well as older members like myself who aren't very good Rotarians, will be paired with a mentor that truly understands the vision of Rotary, and that will help the new member become a phenomenal Rotarian. There are so many people in our club that can be excellent mentors. We have so many past club presidents and people who have been Rotarians for decades and haven't missed a meeting ever, and that's a shout out to Shags. So I want to inspire you all to help newbie Rotarians like me to become better. If you're interested, please email me. We are still coming up with a job description of sorts and would love your help. Another thing the membership committee is doing is creating an e-club member guide. This document will have anything and everything you could ever think of in regards to our club. Stay tuned for it. Finally, I want to create a 50 things all Rotarians should do every year document that you all can check off throughout the year. For example, it would include things like attend a brick and mortar meeting or go to 10 service events. We could even make it a competition and highlight members who are actively hitting those goals. Nonetheless, I want to be able to make your experience as a Rotarian even better. And finally, huge shout out to my committee, Rory, Nate, Sandy, and Roger, who isn't pictured, but I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. And I'm also really grateful for my new mentor, Maxi, who is going to be helping me on this Rotary journey to, again, help me be a better Rotarian. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ferheen. Now I'll put out the call for questions. Sandra, do you have any questions of Ferheen?
I don't really have a question, but I have a comment. I think you did an excellent job, so congratulations. And I love the idea of 50 things to do a year. And I think it would be a good idea because to allow the members to come up with the 50 things. So when we went to the membership meeting, that's a big thing, is allowing, people to participate. So I don't think we have 50 members yet, but it would be a great idea if everybody came up with, one thing. And for people who've been Rotarians for a long time, they're going to have totally different things than some of us that haven't been Rotarians for a long time. So I love that idea. So
that's a really good idea. So maybe what I can do is during the week that this presentation is up, I can include a link to maybe like a Google Doc that anyone can access and type their ideas in. That would be a lot of fun.
yes.
Okay. Maxie, do you have any questions of Ferheen?
First of all, congratulations. It has been a great presentation.
Thanks.
My question is, do you have a timeline for when we will start seeing some of these things moving?
What a great question. So in terms of timeline, I requested that, at least that member guide, I would like it to be done, I believe I said by the end of October. While, yeah, we have 2 months, but I think that's realistic for us to do. In terms of the mentorship program, I don't know about that yet because I have to figure out who, again, these mentors are and how much time they're willing to commit to it. So I think that one is more of a question mark, and I need more help. Like, I can't really give the timeline because I want to be able to, again, tap into the folks who are in our club and ask for their advice. So I'm not too sure about that. In terms of this forum, again, we discussed it, right? I have no idea. I'm throwing it out to the club as kind of this idea that I want to pursue. But I also acknowledge that I am not the best person for it because I am not a computer scientist. I know nothing about programming. So, it's really more of a way to basically get some conversation going about what, again, is the best platform or what is the best way to get us all in communication with each other. That's not Facebook, that's not email, that's not the discus, right? That a place where we can have more private conversations. And so, yeah, so I'm not sure. And again, the board or people might say, Ferheen, I don't think that's a good idea, and that's okay too. So, and then the other things, does that answer most of your questions, or do you have anything more specific that you would?
No, that sounds good. The sooner we start getting some of these, the better.
Yes, I want to be able to at least get it done by the end of this year. And again, if we don't, that's okay. But hopefully, the person, if there's someone else who wants to be membership chair, or maybe the board in general will take on these goals, because I think that all of them will help make our club better.
Now, I have some comments. And first of all, I'll put out 2 hypotheticals. Now, if I wanted to contact a member of our club, okay, and I don't know their email address, how could I possibly send an email to them?
Well, Roger, that is that's a really great question. Currently, I'm not sure. I mean, I do know that there are, I know that we have that Rotary, my Rotary, right? There's this, I feel like I may have seen a way, you can contact individual members that way. But as of right now, there is no real directory. For example, on our website, right? There's no directory. We have personal, the board has a Google Drive where we keep that, kind of personal information. But as of right now, there is no way to directly contact another member, which is kind of my way. I do want to create a way where we can do that, right? Which is kind of that idea of a forum or maybe a Google Drive where, we can share it with our members. But you're right. We currently do not have a way to contact members personally.
Now, I'm a member of the Kamloops Photo Arts Club, and they come up with a very simple way of doing that, because we have an online membership as well, and there's also a button on the for each person, and what it does is if you want to contact that person, then you say you hit the button, and you're able to send an email to them. And what's behind the scenes is their email address, which that button touches to. You don't get to see the email, but it's relatively easy to program into. So one of the things that could be easily done is to have something similar on our membership page.
I agree. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense to, yeah, 100%. So maybe we can, so the folks who are in charge of the website, because again, that's not me. We have, folks that are doing that back end stuff. So maybe we can reach out to them, and that's a really great suggestion.
Okay. The second hypothetical, as you're aware, not too long ago, I was in Anaheim, right close to Disneyland. And one day while I was there, I thought about going to a Rotary meeting in Anaheim. But I decided against it. And I'll tell you why. If I walked into the club meeting and I said to them that I was a member of the club, and somebody asked, do you have any proof to show that you're a member of the Rotary E-Club? I don't have anything.
That's true. And I will say that's kind of how I felt when I visited the Cupertino Club as well as the Santa Clara Club. I mean, they gave me a cute little sticker and I wrote my name on it, but like, you're right, they don't know, and it's kind of just trust, right? But
exactly. But it would be very easy and this has to come out of the membership committee, is to send out to everybody or the new members just a membership card. And that would be, you can easily do them. I remember when I was secretary way back when of our land club, I just set it up on from the database and just merged it into the little cards for that you could print out on your printer, so you could do 12 of them at a time. And it just went and put the name in, and that you were a member of our club, and it was all set up to be able to do that. And it's relatively simple and easy to do, but it would also be greatly appreciated by all the membership.
You're right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, to be able to kind of identify that you are a Rotarian. I will say that, yeah, when I went to the clubs this past week, they did have badges, and that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, and they all kind of like, it tells all their information on that. So yeah, you're right. Like having some sort of identification, I think that's a good idea. So I will bring it up to the board at the next board meeting to see if maybe there is something that we can do. But yeah, you're right. It could be as simple and easy and cheap as just printing out little business cards and sending it to people. You're right.
Yeah. Now, one of this, going back in history, onto the third point, is that for years what we had was classifications. And that concept is kind of downplayed today. But there's one very good use for classifications. And that is for the ability to send out to the members of the available classifications that are open in our club.
Unfortunately, because again, I'm not a very good Rotarian, I don't know what classification means.
Okay, let me just give you a simple example, okay? For years, my classification was lawyer estates, okay? And you could have a lawyer, for instance, in corporate law, but you couldn't have two lawyers in estates. And the idea of that was so that you got a grouping of individuals in the club that come from various different disciplines. Now, a good way to, by sending out to all the members the available classifications, it will show them where our blanks are in the club. So, for instance, we have several people who are teachers. So we don't really need another teacher within the club. We have 3 lawyers. We don't need another lawyer, but on the other hand, I don't know of an accountant. I don't know of a pharmacist. I don't know of a small business construction owner. And that way, what you're doing is you're getting, by putting out a list of available classifications, you're getting people to think about individuals that they know that would fit those classifications.
That makes sense. Thanks. I'll think about it and bring it up to the leadership.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's about it.
Thank you.
Now, is there any more questions of Ferheen?
I just have one more comment about the classifications. I do hope that this doesn't become a way of excluding potential members if they have the same professional skills than others. While I can see the point of having a diverse representation of professions, I would also like us to move in a direction where we have a diverse representation of other things like gender or I don't know, political views or locations or backgrounds, and not just what they do for living. I know this can be a long discussion on Rotary, but this is just my 2 cents on the topic, and we can discuss more offline.
Okay. Hearing that there's no further comments, I would recommend for all the people who are watching this video to do 2 things at the bottom of the screen and the bottom of the meeting, and that is, number 1 is to fill out the comment section, and so that if you would like to see things done by the meeting or the club in terms of membership, that you can go ahead and propose that in the comment section. The other thing that I would bring to your attention is do not forget to fill out the attendance. And if you are a visitor to this club, by filling in your correct email address, our club will send you a makeup and via your email address, and so that you can take it to your club secretary. And as is our practice at this point of time, I'd like to turn the program back to our speaker for her last words.
Thank you, Roger. So as I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, I will need the power of truly each and every one of you to make this e-club a happy, vibrant, and connected club. As much as I would love to do it all by myself, that's impossible. So I really hope that this presentation inspires you to get just a little bit more involved with the club, because we need your help. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.